I want to ask you one question, and I want you to actually answer it in your head right now without overthinking it. What is the plan for your page this week? Not vaguely, not I'm gonna post some content and reply to some DMs. What is the actual specific plan? What content are you filming and why? What is being posted on which platform and when? And what PPV is going out to which fans? What did you learn from last week that you are adjusting this week? And if you could not answer all of that without hesitating, this video is gonna be one of the most important conversations you have with anyone this year. Because if you cannot say what the plan is this week, there is not one. And if there is not one, nobody is actually managing your page. Not your agency, not your team, not you. And by the end of this video, you are going to understand exactly why that is happening, why your gut is no longer enough, and what to actually do about it. Quick bit about me. I run Prestige Partners, and we have worked with creators doing anywhere from 5K a month up to over 250K a month. And the single biggest difference I see between creators who are stuck and creators who are growing consistently is not content quality, it is not looks, it is not niche, it is not even traffic. It is whether or not there is an actual plan behind what is happening on their page. This video is for you if you have been working really hard for months and your numbers have not moved and you cannot quite explain why that actually is. By the end of the next 15 minutes, you will understand why your instinct alone is not enough anymore, what a real weekly plan actually looks like, and what separates creators who drift from creators who grow. And to give you something you can do tonight, I'm going to give you one specific message that you can send to your current agency that will tell you in a single reply whether they are actually managing your page or just attending it. It is the most clarifying message you can send right now, and I will get to it at the end. So activity without direction is just noise. Let me describe what running without a plan actually looks like day to day, because a lot of creators are living this without realizing how much it is costing them. You wake up and you think, right, I should probably post something today. So you scroll through your camera roll, looking for something usable. Maybe you find something, maybe you do not. If you do not, you think, I should probably film something then. But you are not sure what to film because nobody has told you what is working right now. So you go and film whatever comes to your mind. Or you look at what another creator posted and you just do something similar. Then you edit it, post it, and move on to the next thing that feels urgent. Maybe some DMs, maybe a custom, maybe a problem. Whatever is the loudest in that moment and is what gets your attention. And by the end of the day, you have been busy all day, but you could not tell me what you actually accomplished or whether any of it moved the needle. Now repeat that 5 days a week, 4 weeks a month, 6 months in a row. You've been busy every single day for 6 months. You have worked incredibly hard and your income is basically the same as it was when you started. Now, maybe it's gone up a little bit, maybe it's gone down a bit, but nothing dramatic has changed and you cannot explain why, because you were not tracking anything against anything. There was no target at the start of the month, so there is nothing to measure against at the end. Now, there was no plan at the start of the week, so there is no way to tell what worked and what did not. Now, everything just kind of happened, and now you're looking at the numbers going, I do not understand. I worked so hard, why has nothing moved? So look, here's the thing no one's gonna tell you, right? Hard work without a plan does not compound. It just burns fuel. Think about it like being on a treadmill, right? So you're running and running and running, putting in maximum effort, you're sweating, you're exhausted, and at the end of it, you look up and you are in exactly the same place you were when you started. That is what working without a plan feels like. You are expanding all this effort, but none of it is taking you anywhere because there is no direction attached to it. Now, compare that to someone who is walking in a straight line towards a specific destination. She's not even running, she's just walking. But because she knows where she's going, and she's moving deliberately in that direction, she's making progress every single day. Slowly, but consistently. And over 6 months, the person walking in a straight line is miles ahead of the person sprinting on the treadmill. Now that is the difference a plan makes. Not more effort, better direction. Now look, here's the instinct ceiling, right? Most creators got to where they are right now on pure instinct. They started their page, figured out what seemed to work, leaned into it and got to 5K, 10K, maybe 15K a month just by feeling things, right? Just by being smart and hustling a little bit and adapting on the fly. Now, that is genuinely impressive, right? And you should be proud of it. But here is the thing about instinct. Instinct has a ceiling and it is not a high one. Up to about 10 or 15K a month, you can hold the whole business in your head. You roughly know your top fans, you roughly know what content works, and you roughly know your numbers. You can make good enough decisions on the fly because look, the operation is small enough at that point to feel your way through it. Now past that point, the operation becomes too complex to hold in your head. Too many fans, too many platforms, and way too many content types. Too many data points, and the harder you push on instinct beyond that ceiling, the less it gives back. Because instinct cannot tell you that your retention rate dropped 6% last month. Instinct cannot tell you that your best performing content type is actually your third most posted posted content type. Instinct cannot tell you that you lost 2 whales 3 weeks ago and nobody noticed. Those are things that only show up in data, and data only exists if someone is tracking it. And someone only tracks it if there was a plan to track it against. That is a ceiling. That is what you are hitting. It is not a talent ceiling, it is not a content ceiling, it is a planning ceiling. And the only way through it is with structure. Now here is the bit I want to walk you through next, because most creators have genuinely never seen what a real weekly plan actually looks like. So they do not know what they are actually missing. And once you see it, you cannot unsee it. So what a real plan actually looks like, and the message that exposes everything. A real weekly plan starts before the week starts. Someone, either you or your team, sits down and reviews the previous week's numbers, not just revenue, everything. How many new subs have come in? How many churned out? What was the retention rate? What content performed best on socials and why? What PPV sold and what did not? What the chat conversion looked like? Where the traffic came from? All of it. From that review, you identify what worked, what did not, and what you're going to adjust this week. Then you build a plan for the coming week based on those insights. This is the content that we are filming this week, and here is why. This is what is going out on Instagram Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and here are the hooks. This is the PPV strategy for the week. These are the sequences. This is the pricing. These are the target fans. This is what the chat team is focusing on this week. Maybe it's reactivating expired fans. Maybe it's pushing a specific custom offer to Wales. Whatever it is planned. And then at the end of the week, you review again. What hit, what missed, what do we adjust for next week? Rinse and repeat. Now that cycle, plan, execute, review, adjust, is how you actually grow. Not by doing more, by doing the right things, tracking whether they worked, and then doing more of what worked and less of what did not. Then over time, those 1% improvements compound. Week 1, you learn your best posting time. Week 2, you learn your best content type. And week 3, you learn your best PPV price point. Week 4, you identify your top fans and start treating them differently. Every single week, you get slightly smarter, slightly sharper, and slightly better at running this business. Then 6 months later, you look back at the page and it's unrecognizable compared to where it started. Not because you worked harder, but because you worked smarter, because there was a plan. Now here is the message I promised you at the start. And this is how you find out in one reply whether your current agency is actually managing your page or just attending it. Send them this. Send them, hi, can you walk me through what the specific plan is for my page this week? What are we doing? What are we tracking? And what we adjusted from last week? That message, word for word if you want, then watch what comes back. A real team will reply within hours with a clear, specific, detailed breakdown. They will tell you the content focus, the PPV strategy, the chat priorities, the numbers they are watching, and what they changed based on last week. They will not have to think about it because they already have the plan written down. They built it on Monday morning, let's say. Now, a bad team will take a day to reply, send you something vague, or start talking about general principles instead of specific actions for this week on your page. Now, if that is what comes back, you have your answer, because if they cannot articulate the plan for your page in one reply, there is no plan for your page, and you're paying half your income for nothing. So here is what I want you to leave this video with. The difference between a page that drifts and a page that grows is almost always the same thing. One has a plan, the other does not. And the plan does not have to be complex. It does not have to be a 50-page document. It just has to exist. Someone has to sit down, look at what happened, and decide what to do next, and then actually do it every single week without fail. That is the whole secret. It is not glamorous, it is not exciting, but it works. And the creators who do it, or who have someone doing it for them, are the ones whose income goes up steadily, month after month, while everyone else stays stuck, wondering why nothing is changing. So this week, do 2 things. Send the message I gave you to your agency, if you have one, and see what comes back. And whether you're with an agency or not, sit down before next week starts and write out a plan, a real one. What you are filming, what you are posting, and what you are sending, and what specific number you are trying to move, even if it's just rough, right? Even if it's your first time, because look, a bad plan beats no plan every single time. At least a bad plan gives you something to measure against. And the moment you have something to then measure against, you have something to improve upon week on week. Look, my life is not going to change whether you decide to book a call with my team or not, but yours could. If you're sat here realizing that nobody has actually been planning anything for your page, and you want to talk to someone who will sit down and build a real week-by-week strategy around your account, the link to book a call is in the description. No pressure, just a real conversation about where you're at and what an actual plan would look like for you specifically. That is it. Now, I hope you drew some value from this. If you did, drop a like, drop a subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.